All right, so I'm actually recording this intro after the project is done. So I feel like this video is gonna kind of all over the place because I was trying to run the 5-inch exhaust from the front to the back and I had a lot of issues, a lot of struggles with it. I did end up getting it to work, but it was a challenge. So I was kind of more focused on just figuring out what I needed to do instead of recording, because if I was recording, it would have been just chaos. So got it all figured out. I'll show you what I did. Let's get to it. So working on the Escalade again. The goal for today is to get this downpipe transition and maybe even the whole exhaust figured out. I did move the press out so I can start using that. As I said in the previous video, my goal is to kind of shape the pipe so I can fit it through that little hole there. And I think we should be good. I just have to figure out how I want to do it. So let's get started. Okay, so this is what I got here. I ended up cutting a bunch of pie cut pieces, pie cut shapes, and then I pressed them down into an oval shape. So I have 4 different pieces cut, and I can make a pretty decent angle on them. So I just have them tacked into place now. I did try to test fit it with all 4, and I didn't really like the angle, so I popped that one off, and I'll show you how this fits. This is going to be a little bit tricky because I do want to V-band this section, so I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. So we do have the pie cut. It comes in and around. It does fit down nicely, but I have to figure out a way to be able to get it in here to go down and then still hook up the V-band. This exhaust kit did come with some of these clamps like this, so I'm thinking that I should be able to use these clamps, and with any luck I'll be able to fit it with something like this, because it does have the expanded section down there and I'd be able to slide it over. I do have an extra little angle on there. This was kind of tough to do because nothing I have is big enough to cut a 5-inch pipe, especially at an angle. So I ended up using the bandsaw, and the cut is really rough. So I'm just going to use the MIG on this. I don't really feel like fitting it all up really nice and TIG welding it, but this is also kind of a little annoying. This pipe has like almost like an oil coating on the inside, so everything that I cut collects all of the metal and it's like wet sand. So that is just a annoying part of this process right now, but I'm going to keep trying to fit this stuff. And I'll come back in a little bit. Okay, so a couple little updates here. I got this V-band all welded. And I got the rest of the downpipe finish welded. I just used the MIG all the way around this, and I finished the other V-band. And I'm starting to work on this little section going through. So there's the pie cut section that I made before, and now I have it actually attached to the V-band right here. I just kind of tacked it up like that. And that's the position that it's going to go through, and then I'm going to go back and fill this section. So that's what that piece looks like when it's attached. So I'll be able to fill that section in, and what I'm thinking I'm going to have to do is build it in a way that I have to install it with this section removed, just because I want to be able to come in from this angle. I'll probably have an oval shaped piece connected down all the way to here, something like that. And to be completely honest, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get it to work for sure. So I'm going to keep trying and try to get it to work. But if not, worst case, I can cut it out and then maybe neck it down to a 4-inch. I don't want to do that, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So let's keep going. All right, so I didn't really film a whole lot, but I've been working kind of all day. I don't even know what time it is, but it's pretty late. I spent a lot of time on this exhaust, and it's kind of tough to deal with. But here's kind of how it's looking. This section is, you know, really ugly, but a lot of it was just filling in. Like I had to fill in this whole section and then just add a bunch of pieces, try to get it around the frame. So it's basically converting a round pipe into an oval smashed down. I still have to weld the O2 sensor bung in there, but this is kind of just a test fit. It doesn't hit the frame or anything, but I was able to get it down all the way around and to the back. So this section back here is just oval, so it's probably like 2.5 inches tall, and it's just oval going back. And then the oval turns back round, and then you have the muffler here. So I pretty much just ended the exhaust there. I do have it hanging on the hanger there, and then I added a little clamp so it doesn't rotate. I tried to go full all the way back with the tailpipe section that I had out by the bumper, rear bumper, and it didn't really work. So I ended up flattening this section. You can see it's kind of all smashed in and flattened to get around the axle. And I was able to get it in there, but it was so close that it was pretty much hitting. So if I hit any bumps or there was any movement of the axle, it's just too tight to fit through there. Where that's from a Duramax setup. So you're looking at a Duramax is a truck that's a little bit taller. It's not riding the same height. I could try to smash that thing down a little bit more, but I don't really think I feel like it. But what I do want to do is start it and listen to it. So I did just quick tighten everything up. I put a feed and a drain line back on. I got spark plug wires on. And I did just unplug the O2 sensor because I don't have it in the tailpipe, so I don't want it to be reading just open air. All right, so let's do this. Does have some leaks. I can hear it kind of ticking. Some exhaust leaks coming from this section down here. So I don't even think I'm going to clean up these welds. I'm just going to say screw it and leave it. But I do want to try to fix that exhaust leak section. So what I'm going to do, since I don't really have any way to hold these two pipes together, I'm going where these lines are marked. I'm going to weld some little tabs on there, and then I'm going to run a bolt through there. I'm going to do the same here on this section. Tab, and then I'll run a bolt. The bolt will help hold it together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this exhaust joint sealer stuff. I'm going to rub it on the inside and the outside of the joint, and hopefully that should work. So essentially it has that slip fit section. So I want to goober it all on the inside and then all on the outside of the one fitting, and then slide them together, and then it should seal it, and then I'll be able to bolt that together. So that's kind of the plan, because there's not really a good way to get in there to clamp it. So we'll see if this works. I don't know if it will, but I'm also going to weld the wastegates on. Did get 2 of these wastegates. So these are a new style eBay wastegate that I got from Speed Daddy on eBay. I've always used the Speed Daddy gates and I've had good luck with them. This is a little bit different style, and they're like 50 bucks a piece. So it does have the little collar on there to get the top section off, and I was hoping that they were going to be like the O-ring style, but it is actually a diaphragm. So the different top hat, I thought that maybe that would be like the piston and O-ring style. So took a chance on it. Didn't really say anything about it in the ad, but it is a normal diaphragm style, but it's a lot easier to get apart for spring changes because it does have a little collar. So I'm going to try those out. All right, so here's a better look at the whole piece. So we got the round in the back, and then it's flattened to get around the cross members. And this is the part I'm having problems with here. It's this slip fit section, and then again a slip fit section. So you normally would clamp those because they're round, but these are oval, so that's what I'm having issues with. And it has to be done this way because I have to, this V-band section connects to the downpipe. This is the section that goes past the frame. And if I go any longer with it connected, I can't get it out. So I have this section I have to put in, which is slip fit over this. And then I have to put the back piece in, which is slip fit here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld those tabs in. So this will basically butt right up against there and hold these pieces together. This will hold this piece together here. And then what I should be able to do is smear the entire inside of this with that exhaust sealer, and then put a bunch on the outside of this. So inside here, outside here, and then slide it together and then let it set. Bolt it in place so it doesn't move, and it should work. This whole thing is past the O2 sensor. I'm not really too worried about the leaks. It's just the noise. I want to get rid of the noise because it was like pretty high pitched, sounded like metal on metal, because it's basically just all coming right out of here. So that's kind of the plan. Goober the insides of it, bolt it together, and then it should be done. I got the tabs made, and there's a nut. Welded a nut onto the backside so I can put a bolt in. Welded my O2 sensor bung in. And I got both the wastegates taken care of. So now I'm going to start to put the exhaust in. All right, so I did get everything pretty much done. I got the O2 sensor welded in. Everything's tightened down. You can see the little goop stuff that's inside there, and I feel like that actually is going to work pretty good. I do have this tab welded on now and bolted in. So this is actually pretty sturdy. It's not going anywhere. And then I got this one bolted on too. I actually broke the bolt. It started to go in the nut on the backside, and then I like cross-threaded and snapped the bolt off. So I might end up replacing these with like a grade 8, because that's just like a regular grade 5, I think, 1/4x20. So it's not really that strong. But here you can see the goop stuff that I'm using. And I'm going to let it kind of harden a little bit, or cure. It says it takes 2 to 4 hours. But what I did was I just gooped it inside there and then on the outside of the pipe, and then pressed it together. So it did actually completely block all the openings. So that should work pretty decent. And then I just got the exhaust and the muffler going all the way back. So I might put a turn down there. I just have a straight section coming out. So I might put a bend on it. That's what we got for now. So I'm not going to start it up tonight because it says it takes 2 to 4 hours. So I'm going to let it sit overnight and fully cure and then start it up tomorrow and it should be good. So that stuff I'm not even sure if it cures hard or if it's still kind of soft when it cures, but we'll see. Worst case, we just run the dump. And back to this, I said I was going to clean this up, and a couple guys are saying just wrap it because it's ugly or whatever. I don't really want to wrap it because a lot of this stuff is going to get wet, and the wrap and moisture like destroys the pipe. So I'd rather have it be ugly than destroy the pipe and get all rusty. Because that aluminite stuff, even if it gets wet, the exhaust is just going to burn the water off of it right away. And it doesn't hold the moisture on there when it cools, and then it stays wet and like really destroys the pipe. So that's it for this one. Hopefully this video wasn't too messed up. Next I can work on the cold side and getting that tank done, and then we should be able to go drive it. Today's Saturday. I'll bring the stuff in for the drive shaft on Monday. Probably get it back by Tuesday or Wednesday. So hopefully middle of next week we'll be able to go drive it. And the wastegates are 14-pound springs in there. So we'll start right at 14 pounds, I guess. We'll see how that goes.